This is an emergency. Interruption. From the Hot Toys Wizard. An interruption. We are under an investigation. Myself and my friend, Captain Rex, in the 501st, we are going to uncover the mysteries of Hot Toys. Look at this. It's from an old Bantha. These are Bantha ruins. And look, a Hot Toys box. That is the first clue. Let's keep moving around. Look here, another sign of Hot Toys. Anakin. What does this mean? I think we have more. Look, it's possibly a droid, Captain Rex. Let's go. Look at this droid. What droid is this? Is it possible that this is a new mold, that we're working on a new droid? What do you think, Rex? Agreed. I don't know. Listen, we don't always buy coffee out, but when we do, we buy it from Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.
And a Darkside Anakin box there, Anthony and Jay. Did you see that?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
That was pretty.
That was awesome.
That was pretty
I
good,
love
man.
dancing. The dancing was.
Yeah, the dancing was the best. That was good.
Well, I did so much better than that. This Hot Toys Wizard. Listen, Wizard, if you're watching, you got to do a better job than that because, you know, I'm just as good as Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, baby. Come on. What the heck was that?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Guys, what's going on? This is 6 Scale Raw. Come on.
Good to be here, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's good to have you on, Anthony.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's a lot of work. A lot of work, man.
It is a lot of work, isn't it, to do this? It's so much fun, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Though.
It is. And then I had, other, work too. So it's like 24/7, man, never stops, You guys know how it is.
Never stops.
Never.
I feel like I'm in the same boat. But honestly, I feel like that there's not a whole lot going on, but a whole lot going on at the same time. Right, Jay?
Yeah, there's been a lot. I mean, the releases are coming in from Hot Toys, man. We're getting a lot of stuff, and it's coming in quick and it's coming in fast. And all I can say is be careful and get your wallets ready because the storm is upon us, ladies and gentlemen.
The storm's upon us. And, we got Hawk Wars Toys in the house saying, wow, look at this crew. Great show this morning, Jay and Anthony. Oh, awesome. Yes, I still got to check that show out. I was kind of in your boat, Anthony, working.
When I decided to go live this morning, since it's been a minute, I was like, finally, I have a little bit of time. We'll do a little bit of a live in the morning. It's just been so long, man. You know how it goes.
Absolutely. And SKIF sit here saying, and you have to wonder what is going on. We've got the big dog pound who wants us to go woo before the intro there. Come on, what is going on? Wheels, what's up? Mary, what is going on? Carlito, what is up? What table you guys at? Table 66 is almost full. We got Ash in the house as well. Lane Kramer going, wow, that is some TK FOMO dancing down there. And Brando's collectible saying, let's get it. I think TK FOMO did. AJ Argua, Master Imwee's in the house. Eva, Valiant Archer, the collector #1. Hope you're doing great as well. Ryan's in the house too, guys. And Mr. Mom's Collectibles, what's up, buddy? Always looking forward to have you in here. Insane, what is in here? Punisher is in here. But listen, we really can't go on to all that we have to talk about. We got Calvin in here as well. Good for health. Keep going in there. But listen, Jay, we and Anthony, we can't have a 6 Scale Raw without the intro. So let's go ahead and dive into whatever the heck we're going to talk about right now. Now I feel like I could start the show.
Right.
You know, something about the intros that gets me going and whatnot. And look, hold my balls, guy after my own heart here. Yo, fill me up at table 2. Look, man, we haven't had a request to fill up table 2 in a long, long time. Say, here you go,
Coffee
baby.
regular. Love it. You know that's breast milk.
Table 2, a lot of celebrities at table 2, a lot of us at table 2, the songwriters in the house, guys.
Hey.
I wish I could walk like that. The Beskar kid is in the house. What is going on? This is me when I get a new Star Wars hot toy. Calvin Williams is in the house too. What is going on? Good to have you in here. Expect the unexpected, says single songwriter. Well, yeah, I think we can all agree on that, to expect the unexpected. It's been a crazy, crazy freaking year. And Charlie the Unicorn is also, no takers on table 66, but is also at table 2. Here you go, baby.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
Guys, it's crazy right now. And I think the talk last week, Jay and Anthony, was all about this well, really, without further ado, was all about this freaking 50 first.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I want to talk about it here live a little bit, and put Anthony back in here. There
Sorry
we go.
about that.
Yeah, no problem. And listen, go ahead and smash the like button, everybody, right now, as we go ahead and talk about whatever we're going to talk about here. And there's a lot to talk about. Participate in the chat. If we miss saying hi to you, we'll get you up in here. Just go ahead and bear with us. And if you really want something in the chat, is it possible that you should copy and paste it if I miss it? And I say yes. But look, the story here, and starting off with you, Jay, here, dude, to me, it wasn't even about this clone, which isn't selling very high in the bestsellers list right now, by the way, but looks really, really cool. But honestly, I feel like the whole thing about this 501st and this whole drop, if you will, is it's a drop chock full. No pun on coffee. Chock full of 2.0s, dude.
Yeah, definitely. But this one, I mean, we just got this, right? I mean,
We just got it. We just got a version.
yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, we just got it. I mean, it's sold out now. That's the thing. It gives opportunity to people that that want to get it again. I think I was on Leo's stream last week, and I believe it was Useby. He pointed this out, that it's funny that we're getting this one, but he said that this is an actual person in a costume, where if you look at the clones that we got in the prequel movies, they were all like CGI. But in this one, you actually have a guy in a suit in this one. So, that's kind of enticing to the, to collectors. Also, this is another thing. These are like 501st, like right when they rebelled, or right after Order 66. So you're looking at the costume a little bit fresh, it's not fresh, so it's not weathered as the other ones, the other releases. So there are some incentives here with that. And like I said, this is sold out now. You can't get them now. You can get them on the secondary market. They're still kind of you can get them for good prices. If you look hard enough, you will find them. But yeah, it is kind of like a lackluster release announcement in a little bit, because everybody's like, okay, we've seen these, we've gotten these before. It's still kind of a new thing. I think the bigger conversation is, and I know we'll get to it, I'm probably jumping ahead here, but the whole Anakin tease. That was a, know what?
Yeah.
That's a troll. Let's just be honest. It's a troll.
It's a troll at a 2.0, and it's kind of funny. It seems like the chat a little bit divided here, Jay and Anthony. I know, like Beskar Kid, 2 of these minimum, and I know that a lot of people are going to feel that way. And then Hawk Wars, good having Ray in here. What's going on, my man? Hawk Wars Toys, nice shout out. to Hawk Wars. Bad money grab that doesn't even match the OG color. Plus, it doesn't match Rex, Vaughn, Tano, or Jesse. No,
Mm,
good points, but I think it does match the Obi-Wan series. But or I'll have to look a little more closely. But Dorica says we just got it, but it ain't available for another 2 years.
Mm.
very
Um,
true.
but Padme Payton 23 says the more clothes the better. So I don't know there, Anthony. Kind of divided on if people are excited. You got some people excited about this. Look, Eric's saying at least 2 of these. So yeah, what do you think about just the clothes?
Well, I mean, I try to look at it through the eyes or the lens of stormtroopers, right? Because I don't really collect I don't collect prequels or Clone Wars anymore. So for me, I'm not going to get them. But on one hand, yeah, you can be like, yeah, it's just a cash grab, right? We just had 501st. There's slightly different shade of blue. They don't have the deluxe, right, with the backpack and the other accessories and the Ahsoka helmet. Sure, I get it. But on the other hand, you can look at it and be like, if is it much different than certain stormtroopers? They get slightly, just a slight variation, and then we have another one, right? And I don't have problems buying those. So I think for people who want clones, it's cool. Either because they missed the 501st or they just want more variation of clones to put in their collection, right? So I agree with Jay, though. It is a kind of lackluster, right? It's something we just had, right? So it's not like maybe if it was like the 212th or something, right? It feels more of the same, but at the same time, it is pretty cool, right? If people want to have a different, because if you have the 50 for the other original 501st, and then these, you have, it kind of gives a little bit of depth, is how I'm looking at it. Like if you had, a mix of both versions, then that color contrast between one another on your shelf is going to look kind of cool, right? They that way they don't all look the same. Like if somebody bought like 12 of the 501st, right, versus maybe like 6 of those and 6 of these, and kind of had a or 7 and 5, just to kind of give it that it lends to the realism, right, when the shades are just slightly different, even though it's the same figure, if that makes sense. So I think it's kind of cool.
Good.
Well, is it possible, guys? As I'm thinking about this and I've been thinking on it, do they have to give us this version? Because this is the version, right, from the Obi-Wan series, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Obi-Wan series version.
Yep.
They kind of have to give you this version if they're going to give you a Darkside Anakin from this series, because these are the actual clones that are actually pictured with that Darkside Anakin. So is this kind of like a little bit of an extra pattern, gentlemen? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Jay, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, we're putting this out. Obviously, they're going to make money, as you can see in the chat. So many people, some people already buying too. They're going to go ahead and they're going to purchase this. We're going to look a little bit later where this is best-selling wise. It's interesting because even items that just recently released in the secondary market, like you could get the 501st Deluxe right now at a pretty reasonable price and sometimes under retail right now.
Yeah.
That's the original one. So it's a
Mhm.
little bit interesting how close they put this out. I know they wanted to put it out because of the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
But Jay, to your point, this did just come out. But what's happening right now, it did just come out and we're in a bad economy and they're putting the same figure in here. Now, I like this release, but if I had to choose between this and the deluxe one that came out with the 2 head sculpts, yeah, I'm getting the deluxe one because I want the 2 head sculpts. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Exactly.
very interesting.
I almost kind of want, and you know what, and I just want to say this, I'm happy for anybody that doesn't have those, because I mean, what they kind of did was for the people that don't have this, that don't have these clones, they can now get them. They're now readily available, which I think that is a cool thing to do with any stormtrooper or any clones. Just have them available for people to always, to always buy. I think that part of me does think that's cool. On the other end, for people that want to collect exclusively a Obi-Wan line, these go right in line with that Obi-Wan line. And I think what they were doing with this was kind of a linchpin. This was kind of like, yeah, we're showing these clones. Here's your new 501st, but look who we got them with. It's the setup. This is what this is. They're training your mind like, yes, there's an Obi-Wan line. They're going to go deep in this Obi-Wan line. And who did they show with it at the forefront? They showed Darkside Anakin, or maybe Darth Vader, whatever they want to call him. They got him there with them. So I think those are cool. I almost wish that, and I know I'm always talking about 2-packs. I know. But I almost kind of wish these were a 2-pack at kind of like a reduced rate. I don't know. Maybe like, and I know it's wishful thinking in this economy, and I know how Hot Toys is, but if it was like if it was like 390, like 389 or something like that, and you got these two, you know, not many accessories or something like that, I think that would make it more appealing, because then people can pick up 2 and there you go. You know, you can move right along.
And they've had 2-packs before in the past that very, very well.
Yep.
With troopers. And you know what's interesting about this as well? So I'm going to go back to, you know, those pictures. I'm pulling up bestseller wise, sorting this out, Jay and Anthony. You know, the ARF trooper is killing it. And I think partly it's killing it because the heavy weapons clone trooper with the vehicle went on waitlist. Commander Appo went on waitlist. And while those were going on waitlist, this came out. And I think obviously, you know, people were reacting to that. And it's been like quite a few days now. And I don't see this where ARF trooper is, which is odd to me. And does this have it? I mean, there it is. It's not like it's super low, but I'm just a little surprised because it's still a 501st. It's one of the most coveted factions that there is, the 501st. It's awesome. But I wonder how much, Anthony, the secondary market right now, when you're looking at so many of these, that they have to discount, buy one and get one 50% off, some of them all the way up to 30% off through the weekend that we've been looking at on here, even Star Wars, a couple, to that effect. It's interesting.
I mean, that definitely plays a factor in right now because there's a sale, right? So certain figures are going to kind of drop down that bestseller list just because there's a big sale right now, right? But at the same time, like you were saying, like you can get 501st Deluxe pretty cheap, man, like retail or less right now, you know. So what does that tell us as collectors? Well, it tells us that the market's saturated with those figures, right? People are getting rid of them for whatever reasons, you know, financial reasons, or they're bored with it. The point is they're still readily available. So it's no surprise that these new 501st are not at the top of the list, right? People are actually offloading a lot of theirs, or as a buyer, they're picking them up cheap right now. And at the same time, this is like a 2-year wait. So I understand it not being that high with all that going on, but the sales, yeah, it's crazy. Some of these deals they're too good to pass. And if the 501st was still in stock, I mean, make no mistake, that would have been on sale too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the originals, yeah. But you know, they did sell out like 4 months ago, I think. So I mean, and that just happened, right? I mean, really, in collecting terms, like that's not very long ago.
No.
So for them to just drop another one right away, I agree with Jay in that respect, though, because I'm a firm believer that I mean, I've said it forever, but that we're getting an Anakin. It's, you know what I mean? We've gotten figures with scenes with less screen time. And Hot Toys is known for kind of killing Grails in the secondary market. This happens time and time again. So you label it as seen in Obi-Wan. You don't give them the Mustafar base because it's not Revenge of the Sith, right? And then, as Jay pointed out, you can couple him with a pair of 501st if you wanted to.
No. Yeah, and what's real interesting here, we're going to go back to some pictures, just addressing some of the chat here, gentlemen, a little bit. Putting this up on here from Joe P. And he says, this is still great overall. I remember wishing Hot Toys would make clothes, period. No, I'm right with you with that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely clothes. I mean, just look at the ARF Trooper. I mean, and that one's very interesting at that price point. At number one, when you sort everything out, you know, best-selling wise. It's just interesting that there's such a dichotomy between the ARF Trooper and a 501st. But I think there's some good thoughts you guys had there.
I'd say that's because it's a deal. I feel like the value's there. It's like what Jay was saying. If maybe these 501st came in a 2-pack, around
Yes.
three
That would be a
380
good
ish or
idea.
something, right?
Mhm.
Well, that's what this ARF is essentially. I mean, you're getting the vehicle, and you're getting a trooper for less than 4. I mean, MSRP anyway. So it's like
Yeah.
people look at that and be like, "Wow, that's a pretty good deal." So no surprise, it's best selling right now.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
435. Yeah. So I mean, but that's still pretty good.
It's
When you
really
look
good.
at
It's
the
actually
other-
cheaper than the other two that went on waitlist, dude.
Yeah, 550, 600.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is
no,
definitely
for
not
sure.
for DTOF collectors, though. I mean, this thing's huge.
Right.
So you better know where you're gonna put it.
Yeah, and going in with some of these other comments, Dorikas says, speaking of Kenobi, where the frack is that Clone is that Clone Wars Obi-Wan? Listen, hold that thought, because I think we're gonna be talking about that in a little bit. 808, good to have 808 Michigan Jedi in the Cantina as well. Instead of this color version, they could have gave us the 212 clone troopers. Yeah, let me tell you, those 212s are coming real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And speaking of speed, let's go ahead and fill up 808 Michigan Jedi at table 88 or 5 with Popsic, baby. Have to play some of those. Going into some of the other comments in here before we continue to go on. Carlito is in here. Good to have Carlito in here, and is blocking Anthony for a second, but we'll read through this. Let's see if we can put it up here. And if Anthony, God, it blocks everyone.
I can come up here.
You come up there. Let's read it real quick. After thinking about it for a week, in my opinion, the 501st is more for the Obi-Wan fan who wants a specific trooper and not for someone who wants to add to their Clone Wars 501st display since they don't match. No, good thoughts, but I think it matches Jay, the Obi-Wan series, right? That's what that's for. And Mandalorian Huntress is in the house. What is going on, girl? And hello there to you. Always great to have the Huntress in the house. And Payton23 says Darkside Anakin is definitely coming. Absolutely. And the Dorikas also says 176 for a Death Watch Mando. I know. We're talking about that all at the same time here, my friend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's real interesting. Keep the comments coming. Thule's in the house. What's going on? Saying hi to Cantina, me, Cousins, Jay, the Mafia. Come on. Good to have you in here, my man. Yeah, but it was real interesting. So we're gonna have to see where exactly this figure goes. Let's talk a little bit about the real story, as you guys are indicating here. The real story with this is, I think, what they teased in a couple of the photos there, Anthony, which was the Darkside Anakin. So your thoughts when you saw that initially? Did your mind start spinning when you saw that? When you saw that in there, or were you just like, "Oh, I knew it was coming"?
I feel like it because it's such a popular thing,
Mm-hmm.
And it's all they want to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, that would put everything to rest at this point if they did that. People wouldn't really be trying to chase the old one. It's no shock, in my opinion, anyway. I mean,
no, I mean, and you got the darn companion piece here with it. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, the companion pieces to this is exactly what you saw. I mean, I guess you could use either one of the 501st, but this is an exact match to the Obi-Wan show. And I think that because they're going to put out this figure, as I mentioned before, I'm thinking that that's kind of the whole idea here. We want to give you these troopers, which were with Darkside Anakin in this series, which we did not just in there for a little bit, but I feel like we saw this version of Anakin in the Obi-Wan series quite a bit in quite a few flashbacks here. So Anthony, let me just ask you this straight out. Is there really a possibility with this that this is some kind of fluff and there's no way that they're gonna that they just put this in there because they just wanted to sell these 501st?
No, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. So this is really coming.
Well, I mean, I
No
can't
one's
say for
1,000%
certain,
sure, but pretty sure.
I would imagine yes, right? I mean, they oftentimes when they tease figures, they usually have their backs turned or you can't see the faces. We've seen that a lot. Mace Windu, Bespin Han, things of that nature. Granted, this actually could be because on the same token, they have taken older figures and used them to promote new ones, right? I mean, we have seen that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
yeah, not late. Yeah, probably not. You're right.
But they know though, right? They know, like when you look at a few of the Iron Mans that were going over $1,000, Hot Toys reissued them, right? Nightmare Batman was $700-800 averaging. They reissue them, War Machine Mark 1, same thing. He was $700-800. He just came out finally, the reissue, right? So Hot Toys knows, they see the secondary market. And when you talk about Star Wars, especially in light, I mean, because you can have, we have a lot of Grails. A lot of the original trilogy are pretty good pricing wise, especially the 2-packs, right? But as an individual figure, one, Anakin's always held out pretty good. 2, they're cranking clones out left and right. So it makes sense that they would reissue this right now to complement everything that they're doing. I see it coming, dude. I really do.
Yeah, I really do as well. And Jay, and let's get your comments on that. But I think this is just a clear indication saying, hey, it's coming. But Jay, comment on that. But I want to go to you with this. I'm going to give you my opinion on this. There's not a chance in hell they call this Darkside Anakin. I think that they call this Darth Vader this time around.
I agree. I totally agree. And I believe you've been saying that for a while. If they do they would, with this particular figure, that they would do that, and that makes sense because he was Darth Vader at this point. Absolutely. And are they, is this are they using just an old figure just to, sell these two? Absolutely not. He's there in the forefront. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and it has and continue on. But if you look at that little fine print that's all all the way on the right, I'll kind of flash it a little bit there, to the right, where that you see the little, it's like, hey, this it has the little jargon there about figures sold separately. So right now that this Darkside Anakin's not sold. It's sold out. You know what I mean? But
guys, doesn't this kind of look? I'm trying to see it. It's been a while since I looked at my Anakin over there in the corner.
It looks just like the one that I have.
The material right under the tunic, does that look different to you guys, or does it look? Because it looks the same to me. It looks exactly
the same. I'll be just being honest.
I think it looks the same too, but I think our eyes are playing tricks on us.
Yeah.
Right. We're trying to find things that may or may not be there, hidden messages. Right.
Yeah.
Like, is that a 2.0? Can we tell? Like, what's different? Let's
scrutinize.
Let's
it
pixel.
Looks like
the cloak is not wired though on the original, right? I have to pull mine out, but I'm pretty sure. Or is it wired?
I think the
cloak
hood
on the original.
The hood wired? I can't remember. I think the hood.
Now I'm gonna have to look.
It's been a while. This is a while since
and I no longer have it. I wouldn't be surprised, dude. We get a 2.0. I don't know if they'll call him Darth Vader. They may, but then it might get confusing with the other Darth Vader. Unless they say Darth Vader.
No, that's true too. That's true
as seen in Obi-Wan, or they just call him Anakin Skywalker. I don't know, but I do know if they release this, that's going to be a 2.0. We're going to get updated features. We're going to get a USB lightsaber because that's what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And it's just going to put the old one to shame. I mean,
right.
When you look at the old one, it's showing its age.
Right. So, Anthony, you bring up a good point and continue on. It's not going to come with batteries now. So that's going to be a difference and upgrade right there.
Yeah.
Just from the saber.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the other thing. And I'm thinking, too, the reason why I'm thinking maybe you don't call it Darkside Anakin is when you call it Darth Vader, that keeps it away from being another straight reissue, right? Because you're changing the name. I don't think there's a chance you're going to get the base because I don't even remember if we saw that part in Mustafar or those droids in flashbacks in the series anyway.
No.
So I don't think we're getting that. But
Yeah.
Will, I was on with Will Jay, back on for a Black Friday show, and he had a great thought. And his call is that this would be a DX like the Obi-Wan and the other Darth Vader release, with rolling eyes functions and 2 head sculpts, one with this with the Sith eyes and one without it. What do you think about that? I like that idea.
I think that's a possibility because they've given us DX. They've given us DXs in both offerings from Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. So that does make sense. Them doing that though is an ultimate Grail killer, because what they'll be doing is giving you the ultimate Anakin. You get to pick your flavor. You get a regular Anakin, and then you get a Darkside Anakin head sculpt. That would be amazing. That would be a Grail killer. Do I think that they would do? They may.
No,
They may definitely do that.
That's the Hot Toys of old, bro.
You don't think they would do it?
Have they in a long time? When's the last time we had a pretty nice DX?
Well, Obi-Wan. Well,
no, I mean real DX.
Yeah, shit, in a
right
while.
with the foam packaging, everything.
What are those?
Since DX, what was that? Since DX17. Good
point. I mean the malls, right? Kind of, but I mean when you look at like DX10, DX13, the Terminators, the multiple scopes, things like that. I missed that. So it's not out of their wheelhouse. They've done it, but they haven't done it in so long.
So do you guys think they'll just they'll just take their the original? I mean, because what they could do is take the original Darkside Anakin, throw it in a box, now give us the Mustafar base, and everybody will run and get it. Still,
I think what they would do is they would give you pretty much the same figure, give you the 2 head sculpts, both with rolling eyes function, give you the LED up lightsaber, give you a different type of base. Because usually with the DX, it comes with something, pretty cool, like we got with that Vader DX28, like with the rocks, like they were getting with the DX27 for the Obi-Wan. And I don't think they have to do a whole lot. I don't even know if they would really even change the hair all that much in this. I mean, just really, they can have the whole cape be wired, give you the rolling eyes function, give you the LED lightsaber, give you a different base, and call it a DX.
Well, you got to think like, with a figure like Darkside Anakin, we want all this cool stuff. We want the bells and whistles, the 2 head sculpts. We want this, whatever, this grandiose packaging, right? Well, because it's Darkside Anakin, dude, they could package this shit, ship it in a paper bag, and it would still sell out.
That's pretty much
so. I mean, I'm being realistic. I mean, it's gonna sell no matter what.
Yeah.
So, do they need to invest more to bring up the MSRP? Probably not. They can do some slight updates, right? No, normal base, whatever, and throw a USB saber in there, and that thing is going to fly off the shelves.
Well, listen, I got to pause everybody for a second because it looks like we have Mario, the El Profesoro, but without video yet, inside the Cantina. What's going on, Mario?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm actually on my way home from work. I'm on the road right now, but I just thought I'd drop in and say hey real quick, and thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. Coming in on the audio, and then if you get home in time too, then pop in on your computer. Sounds awesome. What's going on?
Nothing. What are we talking about here? Darkside Anakin?
We're talking about the Darkside Anakin right now. We started off with this 501st. Talking about the version, a couple of different things on that, but really, I feel like Mario with this whole, drop, it's a 2.0 drop. It's they're showing the Darkside Anakin, and obviously another 501st. It's basically 2 reveals, one future one that is real, but they're kind of reissues, aren't they?
Reissues, maybe. I would lean more towards a 2.0, considering the 501st Trooper is completely different. The body's different. The paint apps are different. They don't match the Clone Wars, which is accurate. Regarding the Anakin figure, man, yeah, I think I definitely agree with everybody that it is coming, but what's this? What are we actually going to get? You know, if they're gonna base this off of this scene in the Obi-Wan series, then most likely we'll just get like a standard release. I honestly don't see this as a DX. As nice as that would be, when Anakin first dropped way back when, we were screaming on Hot Toys, why did you give us a freaking DX from the beginning with the Sith sculpt, with the Sith eye sculpt and everything? We were
Right.
We're really,
They'll
really
give it to you now.
maybe, but knowing Hot Toys that the way they are now with their DX line, they're gonna give us a standard figure with DX packaging. It's a joke, dude. It's not. I do not expect them to release 2 head sculpts. There's no way they're going to do that. Rolling all about features, forget about it. I don't believe that's actually going to happen. If anything, if they wanted to keep it accurate to the show, they need to give you the light side Anakin sculpt without the Sith eyes, because that's what we saw his eyes when he, spoiler alert, when he saw Reva, as a youngling. Right?
Yeah, and that's interesting because I think mostly you saw him without the glowing eyes. I think that there's one part where Obi-Wan had a vision of him where it looked like he had the red eyes there in the sand of whatever planet they were on there, and it did have the red eyes. So I feel like that's where the 2 head sculpts come into play. But I think you have a good point there, El Profesor Jay. I'll go to you. You could still come with 2 head sculpts like the Luke Skywalker Endor Deluxe. And some other figures, and you don't necessarily need it to be a DX.
That's very true. I would love to see it. Would love to see it. I think who knows what they're going to do, but I do agree with Anthony that they could put this in. They can just put this in a paper bag, and we'll get it. As is. They could just reprint the one that we got all those years ago and just put it back out there, and there it is. People will get it. Do I want them to do that? Hell no. I want all the bells and whistles. That's what we should have got in the first place. My thing is do it right in the first place. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. But let's face it, it's a business. Hot Toys is a business at the end of the day. They're in it to make money, and we get that. But I think this is but I do think they're going to get. I do think we're going to get something different. I do at some point, because you look at the other 2 offerings, those are DXs. So what are they going to come with this? It may not be the DX we want, but it's going to be a DX.
No, for sure. And Jonathan M, brand new member here. So thank you so much. Really appreciate your support there. Becoming a Cantina insider. And also, we have the $5 drop. Thank you so much. And he says, I just brought 2 Death Watch Mandos from Sideshow on buy one, get one, half off. One for $176 and the other for $88.
Nice.
Then spent $5 to tell you. Then spent $5 to tell us about it. Oh, goodness. Well, listen, $88. $88. I do believe, gentlemen, that does deserve what it is. A lot of freaking deals. We're all talking about that at the same time while we're talking about this. So we got a few concurrent conversations going on. But yeah, Anthony, it's just on this super chat real quick. That's some good deals to be had right now, my man. $88. That's pretty good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I spent over $500 for 2 of them. So, I'm just saying, right? I mean, when you buy them retail, where they were like $230, $240, I don't remember what they are. So that's a great deal. That's gonna be awesome, especially if you get like a Bo-Katan. Why not? Right? $235. Yeah, they were $235 when they came out. So yeah, dude, that's a killer deal. There's a lot, man. It's unfortunate because when I look at most of these deals, I either have everything or there's stuff I don't want, right? So it's like, oh, I know a lot of people have been scoring this past couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, putting this, and thank you so much there, Jonathan M, for that super chat and for becoming a member. Maybe spill my coffee, baby, or my tea right now. Good for Health says, just sold my light side Anakin for about what I paid for it. fingers crossed. You guys are right. I really think this is coming. And honestly, for the Obi-Wan series, I do think it's going to come with two head sculpts because of all the scenes where it is that way. And then Wayne Timothy says, guys, and good to have Wade in here. The base that comes with Darkside Anakin is easily the best base of any Star Wars release. It is a real good one. That base that comes El Profesoro with the original Darkside Anakin, but there's no way that they're going to give us that base with this one. I mean, it's what we didn't even have Mustafar in the flashbacks with the series.
We actually did at the beginning.
Oh, we did.
Remember.
We did.
Yeah.
Did we have a droid in there somewhere? But we didn't have him riding the droid, so no.
They did. Yeah, I mean, they didn't focus on it, but they did flashback to that, to the duel, I think, where they were fighting in proximity with one another, pretty close to each other. So, I don't know, man.
Well,
I mean,
that was more of like a recap, though, right? Like previously.
It doesn't matter. It was still there, dude.
I mean,
that's
it's
even more
like a
reason to
recap
bring it
too,
out.
but you're right. Yeah.
Then they can reissue anything from episode 1, 2, and 3 because they showed all
From the
that.
commercial in between. You know?
Why not?
Right, yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, we don't really know the rules these days. I mean, I know a lot of us speculate, hey, they're not going to reissue a straight reissue off of any like Toy Fair exclusive or what have you. But who's to say they can't do that? You know, I mean, Anthony, you said earlier that hey, this is a new Hot Toys, these days, and where before, I mean, just based off of trends, where they wouldn't do that, but I don't think there's anything in stone saying that they couldn't do that. Yeah. So, I mean, I hope that they wouldn't. I mean, that just gives it leaves integrity to the original figure, it keeps its value in that sense. But if they did do a straight reissue with it, man, I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be a bummer. But
I don't think they will. I mean, like you said, and I said earlier that that's kind of a new Hot Toys now, right? They're like 2.0. They're doing a bunch of things that we're not used to. But I still feel while they probably could very well do that, I think that's the very reason why they didn't do that. For example, with Nightmare Batman, right? They paired him with the 2-pack because they know that they're going to upset the secondary market and they're going to upset the collectors.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to just go ahead and reissue this exactly the same, knowing how expensive it is in the aftermarket, regardless of whether or not you sell your figures or not, people like to feel like they have something that has some considerable value, right? It's just life. It's not even in the collecting world. So if Hot Toys was to do that, the customers are going to lose faith in the company.
Something to consider, dude, is that it's not Star Wars related. The Batman Begins figure was a Toy Fair exclusive back in the day, and they're reissuing it pretty much identically what it is. Granted, it's updated. You have an updated.
All they got to do is make that subtle update, Mario.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's all. That's all it is. But I mean, there's really nothing left to the original, and that'll maintain its value. Yeah, it's an old figure. The thing is falling apart. There's been tons of technology has progressed over the years, since then, which would warrant that upgrade. But the fact remains that hey, they still reissued a Toy Fair exclusive in its own single pack. So I don't know. It might be something to consider. Maybe not.
No. Well, they're known for some of that, right? I mean, remember you were just as shocked as I was that the Bespin Luke. We even talked about it because we saw that it was coming, and Mario and I were both like, nah, they're not going to give you the Darth Vader mask.
Bastards, dude.
That was an exclusive specifically, right? It was like I don't remember if it was Time. It was a Sideshow exclusive.
It was a Sideshow exclusive, man. It was like it was a special edition overseas that translated to a Sideshow exclusive, and they freaking threw the damn thing back in the.
And they threw it back in.
Back in the DX box, man. What the hell?
When I was going after mine, right about a couple of months before that version came out, I remember people were selling that helmet with the Luke face in it. It was something that piece was going for about $300 by itself at one point. So yeah, it's funny that they give that to you again.
And I think maybe we're going to get an emergency interruption from the Hot Toys wizard as the 1/6 scale man, Lael. What's going on,
man? How you doing, brother? How are you, man?
I am good. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and happy holiday week and holiday season.
Man, it's a crazy one. It's been nutty, but I'm glad to be here amongst you guys. Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Well, listen,
Definitely.
we'll get right to you here.
What's up?
We've been talking about we've been talking about a couple things. You know, obviously the people have been telling about the deals that they've been getting. We've been spilling coffee over some deals. People were getting one got a figure for $88 in the chat, and of course we're talking about the 501st, the Obi-Wan version. And we're on this Darkside Anakin again, dude. And I'm still trying to get to the other point with this, but we're still on this. This is kind of all the buzz right now with this. But what did you think when you saw this? And we're talking about right now, like, hey, you know, there was that scene where when Obi-Wan saw him in the sand whale, where he did have the red eyes, and then all the other scenes he has the regular eyes. Could this be a DX? Could this just come with two head sculpts? Could it be the same exact one? Which none of us really think it's going to be. But do you think that this is coming? Is this a clear sign? And are you surprised by this? And what's your thoughts, my friend?
Hold on, let me do my impersonation real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do that one more time. Do it one more time.
Well, you know, maybe. No.
I don't know who that is.
No, listen, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see a 2.0. There's no doubt in my mind. They're planting that seed. I mean, they knew what they were doing. Putting that figure front and center. If anything, if it was all about the troopers, you would have had them in front of him, maybe have him blurred out in the back. But they had that up front and center so you can actually see. They teased it, and they knew that it was going to spark conversation. That was the MO. They knew that. The troopers were just, and here's the thing. This is what Hot Toys did. They knew that, number one, there were going to be a lot of individuals that were kind of pissed at the simple fact that they were releasing a repainted version of the 501st, right? So to settle that, they said, okay, we'll release these figures, which are updates. They're your updates based on what we got from from Obi-Wan. And they made that plain and simple in the disclaimer. But they also made sure that they had Anakin up front and center so you can see it, to take the focus off of what they knew they were doing. So again, we're going to get it. I don't know when. We could get it soon. You know, we could expect to get it pretty soon. It's happy times for people who never got their hands on one, like me. I didn't get the dark side Anakin. I got the light side version, but I didn't get the dark side. So it's happy times for people like me to get my hands on it. I don't really care about the base. I don't normally use those bases anyway, so it's not really too much for me. If it doesn't come with that, I'm cool with that. I'm completely fine. But they knew what they were doing when they dropped that hint. So of course, I know that we're going to see it. It's just a matter of when. That's what I believe. It's when. It could be next week. It could be sometime in December. I don't know. They need to be focusing on these, orders or these, back orders and stuff that we're expecting. They should be focusing on that. But I wouldn't be mad if they dropped more hints about that, or if they put it up. You know what I mean? Star Wars love. I'm biased, so it really doesn't matter at this point. But again, I don't know. It's just like, Jay, we just talked about this last week, bro. Like, there's ups and there's downs. Like, when they're up, they're riding high. But as we've seen today, there's some ultimate lows. So it's how to kind of get over that particular hurdle and how to address it. So again, with this, I hope they do something to kind of like, I hope they do something. That's all I'm saying. Do something. We just completed Andor. Drop us a Cassian, do something like that.
Yes.
I don't know, do that. I mean, just something to just kind of take this bad taste out of my mouth as of today, because I was very disappointed. But again, you know what I mean? I mean, when you have expectations for a figure, and then when you get the figure and it looks like it could literally headbutt the world and throw it off its rotation. It's like, yo, like,
hard,
don't
Dave.
know,
It's hard.
man. It is hard. But anyway, to address this, bro, I mean, we know it's coming. It's just a matter of when. It would be dope. If they release it and they give us 2 head sculpts, if they give us basically dark side and the light side, they're not going to do that. It's going to mainly just be focused on the dark side. But I'm not mad at that because I've been wanting this figure for a while, so I hope we get it. That's all I can say.
Can I ask this? Would you guys be upset if they gave us? And I probably know the answer to this question, but this
A brother cousin's figure? Hell no! I take that and put it right in front of me, bro. I put that right up with some candy and some tooth. Come on, man. Are you crazy? Hell no. But nah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But nah, that's funny. But nah, like, what if they did a thing kind of like what they did with? Because this is another trend we've seen them doing this year. Them giving us these 2 point, quote marks 2.0 figures, throwing them in the box and putting them out and like rushing them out, and then they're like out, like kind of like what they did with Arena Boba Fett. Fett is a repaint, but what if they took, Darkside Anakin, stripped him of the Mustafar base, put him in a box, and said, "Hey, this is for the Kenobi.
Available now, like
available now." I think that would be exciting, honestly,
and make it limited to 300.
Well, we've seen how that works.
Right.
Well, and
they'll come with a churro and then they'll reissue them again.
Yeah.
It does bring up, Jay, the next part of this question of this topic with this Darkside Anakin, and the fact that, hey, and I entitled this "The Dark Side of Collecting," this particular show. And not necessarily that there is a dark side, but this is Darkside Anakin. I think that it's possible that they will call this really Darth Vader. But who knows, how exactly they're going to position this. If it becomes a DX, I think they'll definitely make it Darth Vader. If they could straight out reissue it. Single Songwriter brought up a good point in there. The original one is a movie masterpiece release. This one would be a TMS, which is true. Because it wouldn't be an MMS, and that was a really good point there, Songwriter.
It's true.
But the thing of it is, people. Here's the bottom line: people were spending. I know a couple of people in here that have sold their Darkside Anakin's, subscribers, $800, $810 during the Obi-Wan series. You see it'll sell at $1,000. Went down some, but still. It came a little bit back up again before this. Not getting any data right now, but right about $800, $810. And that's the thing. Hey, you got a Grail, Jay. You got to figure that's a Grail. It's worth that much. The reason I put a limit on myself only to spend $400, and I did. I spent $400 on this ship, baby. $400 on it, shipped. When I got it a year and a half ago, whenever the heck it was, but I didn't go a penny over because I said, hey, what if someday they actually do reissue it? It'll probably be worth $300, $350, and that's fine. I don't mind being out 50, even $100, but to be out like $500, $600, I mean, that's a lot. And you could do what you want, but you bring up a great point because that's part of the point with this. What if it is like Arena Soup Boba Fett? Honestly,
it will sell out in less than 24 hours, just like Arena Fett did.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. And really, I don't know if it's superior to the original release, but that's another good point that Songwriter brought up. Guys, and Mario, I'll go to you because I know you're in the background over there. It won't be the original Revenge of the Sith, though. It won't be the actual movie release. It'll be a release from the Obi-Wan series. So that original one, even if it's inferior, is still the original movie release.
Yeah, as far as it's selling out, I don't know, man. That's you would think, Anthony, but I'm wondering how many people that are looking for this actually, ended up buying it at a premium. I mean, and then plus two,
decent amount,
for
but
us,
not everybody.
Well, I mean, Aries, you have the dark side version. If this came out, would you, could you justify getting this?
Oh, 100%. I would get it, especially If it's exact reissue, no, I'm not going to get it. But if it's a DX, it has a roll of guys function, or it has the light up lightsaber with the LED light, which that's good. We know that's going to be an upgrade that they're going to have, right? Because they're not going to have the batteries anymore. If I get 2 head sculpts,
Oh, you mean USB? Yeah.
Yeah, the USB. Excuse me. Yeah. So most likely right now, unless it's more, it doesn't have like, if it's a D. It depends, but right now I'm leaning towards yes, I would get it, especially if it has a couple of extra. It's an upgrade, dude. It's kind of like with this character for me, to be quite honest with you. If they gave me a slight upgrade on a Han Solo, a New Hope, or a Farm Boy Luke Boy, that's a bad example because that needs an upgrade, even though that's still good. But you know what I'm saying? I would probably get it. You know what I'm saying? Because of the character.
Well, you could also, my whole thought, because people ask me that too. They're like, "Well, if they drop it, are you going to get it?" And I said, "Well, if they actually do this, which I think it's a matter of when, it could also be really cool to have this Anakin just paired up with the Darth Vader from Obi-Wan with the cracked face. I would just display them like that. If you had like a DTOF or something, just a shelf with like 2 figures, just those 2 together would look really cool, in my opinion. Or again, you can throw it in with, prequel stuff or Clone Wars stuff or whatever you want to do with it, right, in that era. But you could also, because it is from the Obi-Wan show, so it'd be kind of cool to see just 2 different, 2 variations of him, right? One in the suit, one in the robes. It would look awesome. It would look awesome together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And make sure everybody, if you're watching, that you subscribe to Jay, that you want Brother Cousins Toy Reviews, that you subscribe to Anthony from the 6 Scale Mafia, that you subscribe to El Profesoro, who jumped off but will be jumping back on. El Profesoro Mario, the El Profesoro channel, and Leo, the 1/6 Scale Man. Is it possible that all of their links are within this video's video description and all my live video descriptions? And I say yes. Leo, let me go ahead and jump to you again on this with the market.
What's up?
If it is limited, and honestly, Leo, I'm going to be honest with you, brother, and I've been talking about this on my market shows. I don't think anything coming out in this economy is going to be very, very high production on the drops that they're doing now, as thus that we're seeing with some of these early wait lists. And I think some of them will get low stock warnings before others, but eventually we'll get it. And it looks like with everything, dude, they just don't want stock. But that being said, how does this affect the one that is super, super high? I mean, you would think it's going to bring it way, way down, but that one isn't exclusive, A. It is a movie masterpiece release, B. And most likely this is going to have some differences, like the USB light at the very least. But what is your thoughts on that?
Here's the thing: it's an opportunity. They capitalize on a figure that they know people will buy. There are certain figures that they know they know people will buy. Just because you put this figure out, you slap an Obi-Wan Kenobi label on it, people will buy it. Number one, because it's in representation of the character from that series. Plain and simple. I mean, there's no if buts about it. Like they will. You know what I mean? Especially people who are already investing in these clones and want to recreate that scene and have something special in their collection or on display. People will do it. You know what I mean? I think that if they were smart, they would basically give us an updated version of it. But again, that's a stretch. I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't call it. To re-release the same figure is like a jab. Like literally, it is like a jab. It's like you have to give us something. Throw us a bone. To give us, even if it's a special accessory. I mean, whatever it may be at that point, give us something that distinguishes it. It's completely distinctive and it separates itself from what you have already released.
A new base, a new backdrop.
Maybe a new base, new backdrop, pers, system itself.
Purrs would be awesome.
If it's a PERS, now they can't call it. If they call it a DX, give us a DX. Give us a legit DX and the reason why you want to call it a DX. You know what I mean? Give us basically a backdrop that represents the hall that he was in, or that scene, when he enters in where the younglings were. Give us something like that, or I don't know, give us something that's going to represent the proper DX. We know now that there's been a decline in DX figures. Like when it comes to DX, it's listed as DX, but it's not the DX that we're used to. Okay, change is out there. We understand it. I get that. Change happens all the time. But with this figure and how special it is, and of course everybody wants it, you have to do something. Like you have to do something to separate it from what we already actually have at this point. You know what I mean? Even if it's light up mechanics in the arm or some shit like that, or
something, right?
You know what I mean? Just something. You have to give us something, you know what I mean, that kind of is in representation of an improvement or an advancement or innovation on that particular figure. So if it is the LED light up feature, USB feature, whatever with the saber, okay, that's one. But DX or give us something, or even like a repaint of the sculpt a different way. I don't know, because here's what they tend to do. Because we noticed this, like for instance, with the Book of Boba Fett, or even Boba Fett figure from the the difference between the head sculpt that we got from the Mandalorian version, with the 2-pack, and then what we got with the throne. You notice how the eyes, the expression is different. The eyes are turned a different way. You know what I mean? So they do that with those little subtle hints to say, okay, this is a different figure. Yeah,
and that matters to collect. It matters to me.
It does. Like you would actually say, it basically does matter to a lot of collectors. But again, they're going to have to do something, and then it's going to be an atonement for people like me who was pissed off when they basically released the light side version, and then we got the exclusive. Was it a con exclusive or something like that, Toy Fair exclusive Darkside version with that base? Yeah, what I mean, like, I don't know.
Canceled, right? They canceled yours too.
Yeah, they canceled my. Yeah, bro. Yeah, Sideshow canceled it because again, they overestimated when it came to stock. So, yeah, some atonement is going to be needed at this point.
Well, and I think that they underestimated Lael. In conjunction, what you're saying, overestimated stock because they underestimated, as many did, this economy coming out of COVID, that it was going to be like this. All right, so let me ask this. You're going around the table here. Darkside of Collecting, you're seeing this here. Looks like there's going to be differences. We don't exactly know how this is going to affect the original release. I think all of us are in agreement that there is a decent chance, a good chance, that there'll probably be some upgrades. It may be a better version. Anthony, you were talking about later that this is almost outdated in a way. It needs to be slightly better.
I think so.
Look, but right now, because low supply, let's be honest, fellas, equals high demand. Okay. Great time in an economy like this to buy collectibles, typically, many of them anyway, some of them anyway, I should say. And, you're going to have some grails, like that arena suit Boba Fett is a grail already.
Only because it was premeditated, though, right? I mean,
right. Yeah.
I don't think half the people that bought it even knew where he was from. It was
exactly.
the exclusivity. Yeah. They were like, oh, shit, there's like only a couple hundred.
And
that's it.
Dope figure. It's so incredible.
It
is.
Like
it is. It's a dope. I mean, it's literally like that. That's how you give us an exclusive. Give us something like that, and it looks great. It does. It's a great. Did you get it, Aries?
I did
right there on the throne.
Get that figure. No, I did not. I missed out on it, my friend.
Oh my god.
And I'm not spending $500 on it.
yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, again, I didn't get it when it was I got it when it hit Sideshow. That's when I got it, when they put it up, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's available. Let me just get it now.
I didn't get any of those. I didn't get the Arena Suit Fett or any of the Chrome Troopers. But if I had to choose, I want the Arena Suit Fett.
Yeah.
I don't do the troopers, but I'm thinking about that. The Chrome clone one looks really, really good. But
Yeah.
no, when I missed out on, I was kind of like, oh, there's so many figures to buy. I'm like, okay. But no, when I saw the reviews and the way that figure looks, it is sick. But here's the thing, guys. When we talk about, is it really safe, these grails? Like Darkside Anakin is a grail. It's a grail.
Mhm.
But it's a lot of money. Tarkin is a lot of money right now hitting the $700 range. Han Solo, a lot of money. He may be a bad example, but because I know they're going to come out with him again. But Leia, A New Hope, great example. Director Krennic, great example. Chirrut Imwe, great example. Are any of these really immune to 2.0 versions? I mean, it's that's why I'm calling it kind of like the dark side of collecting. Not that it's kind of like the dark side of the moon. You really don't know. Like in some cases,
they put out Grail killers.
Yeah,
this
but
is
there's
a Grail
weird
killer.
variants
If
there,
they do
though,
this out,
too.
does it kill this figure?
And here's the thing. When you good morning, Grails Tuesdays. Anyway, sorry, but here's the thing. I mean, Grail hunting and purchasing at those prices is a very, very slippery slope. You have to really be careful, and that's the thing. And to not overpay. And I think, Aries, the rule of thumb you have, not paying over $400 is that's a good rule of third to have. Now, I will say for some certain figures, that's not going to fly. That's just not. You're gonna have to pay to play. Like if you want a stormtrooper like stormtrooper of Luke and Han in the skies, you're going to pay upwards 500 to 600 for each of those figures at this point. Now here it is. The anniversary comes out, 50th anniversary comes around, and they do a 2-pack. You know what I'm saying?
And there's a chance that all of those could be upgraded at that point in 2006.
Yeah,
if they do it early, or 2007. When the actual anniversary is. I mean 2027, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so far away though, right?
So it is far away. Yeah.
You have to think about that. I'm not saying that it's us. It could be, who knows, man. We don't know what tomorrow, brings.
Yeah.
But are some people going to be collecting in 7 years? Do they want to wait 7 years?
Exactly.
So you have to think about like what the figure is, right? Where the figure comes from, how it resonates in pop culture. So yeah, okay, Iron Man's, Luke Skywalker's, Captain America's, like the big kind of hitters, right? Obviously those are going to come out. But when you look at somebody like, say, Red Skull or Hela, from the MCU, I don't see them reissuing them because they're not relevant. You know what I mean? They were characters in a movie, and that was it, and they were done.
Even in a low run, it would have to be a really low run for them to. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right, just for the sake of it. And those Hela's 500-ish now, right? Red Skull's kind of dropped quite a bit, but my point is those do hold some value, but are they an upwards of close to 1,000, right? Once they start hitting that 700-800 price point, that's when they look at that. Because War Machine's, one could argue, is not really relevant either. Is War Machine Mark I from Iron Man 2. But they were like, you know what? People are spending. Remember that shit? It was on some Facebook group like 2 years ago. Guy just spent $900 on it. And then like 3 days later, Hot Toys was like, boom, here's the reissue. And he was like, so it just depends, right? It depends on where do they get when they reach, what's the word I'm looking for? Like maximum. There's a word, man. What happens to the Hulk, man? You know what I'm talking about. There's a phrase. When you hit that maximum, whatever it is, right? That peak, it's over. It doesn't matter if it's a one-off, it's a popular character. So that's why it's no surprise to me that Anakin's going to get reissued. It was only a matter of time. Not only because it's fetching that high price, but now it's also relevant again. Yeah, and it's going to go in conjunction with all their clone sales. So it's a perfect storm right now to do it. Nightmare Batman would have been another good example. where it would have happened eventually, but we had such a rare opportunity that the fans wanted Zack Snyder to finish his version of Justice League. You know, now we have this 2-pack. You know, now we have Cyborg. Cyborg was never coming. I don't care what anybody says. If Joss Whedon and that was a wrap and that was Justice League,
We wouldn't have ever got it.
we wouldn't have gotten it.
I agree.
We would not have gotten it. So, you know, when you have to pay attention to what's going on in pop culture and, you know, certain properties, and that can kind of feel like you said, like, if A New Hope 50th anniversary, that's a long ways away, dude. Some people may not want to wait, and they're like, you know what? Maybe I got a bonus at work. Maybe I got my taxes.
There you go.
I really want this figure. I'm just gonna go buy it.
And that's pretty. And when it comes to
Mhm.
Vader, and when it came to Vader and Tarkin 2-pack, that started the whole Grail thing. I fell into that hole. I was like, okay, I have the money now. I really want this. I really love that set. I got it now. Who says I will have it 2 years from now? Let me go ahead.
I'm gonna pause you guys real quick to continue, Jay, because I know that Lael, you have to book out.
Yeah, I gotta dip out and get ready for a comic book talk with friends discussion tonight. So yeah, man, thank you for having me, of course, with this incredible panel of amazing gentlemen and Mario.
Absolutely.
So definitely nah, man.
I see you, boo.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, man. The great discussion. Sorry I was late, work. I hate work on Mondays, especially after the holidays. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, man, I'll be back next Monday, ready to go. Yeah, you let me know, and
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Let's do it.
All day, man. Everybody hit the like button, subscribe to everybody that you actually see here. Get you some pimp juice, some get you some knowledge. Get you some knowledge from El Profesoro and the Wizard. So definitely, man. Thanks for having me here. I will talk to y'all later on, man.
Lael, you
See you,
take it
brother.
easy.
Have a good night. Oh, yeah,
Always
man.
awesome having
Thank
the
you, brother.
1/6 scale man in here. Make sure you all subscribe to the 1/6 scale man. The link again in the video description below.
Definitely.
We'll see you soon here, buddy.
Thanks, man. And good morning, Grail tomorrow. Check it out. I'm gonna be there, man.
Arena Fett, right?
Arena. right. All right,
Maybe.
man.
Pretty soon.
Peace out.
Hell yeah, brother.
Later, man.
Peace out. No, but you bring up some great points, Anthony, on this particular thing, because I mean, on some of these figures, you're going to wait maybe 7 years, or 5 years, or how long to be able to get it. So it's going to come out again. You also don't know if it's really going to affect the price. I can bring up some scenarios where the 2.0s, if you I guess, of the Death Troopers from the Mandalorian did not affect the price of the Death Troopers, those releases of the specialists from the Rogue One. As a matter of fact, those went up from that. You could also look at a 2.0 because the Clone Wars Anakin is in fact it's the same head sculpt. Obviously, as the different clothes and it has the different hair, but it's still that same exact head sculpt. That it actually made the Revenge of the Sith figures go up. So is it possible that with even a Darkside Anakin here, this is an MMS figure, the one that's out now, and this one's probably more than likely going to have some differences. Maybe it doesn't. I think it affects it some because it's so high, and it's going to be an upgrade, I believe, from that figure. But it'll still hold some value. But I still feel they have to. I think Jay, you said it right. Caution. Yeah. Just know going in, it actually may go up like the Death Trooper Specialist. It could actually go higher, but it could actually also go lower.
Exactly.
You just don't know.
The thing you have to think about is there's different tiers of collectors, right? So the first tier, like, you have to look at is, well, right away, people are familiar and aware of 1/6 scale figures, right? So you've got that group. Then you go, okay, well, what do they like to collect? Maybe they like Star Wars. Okay, so now that group is narrowed down a bit, right? Because now the other guys like Marvel, they like DC, whatever, they like one-offs. Then they go, well, what kind of Star Wars do they like? Well, maybe they just like prequels. So then that narrows down even further. You see what I mean? So it keeps getting lower and lower until you get to someone who's like, oh yeah, I really like Anakin. Whether it's, light side, whether it's dark side. Then there's the hardcore Anakin people, which is where what you're talking about, where, okay, dark side got affected a little, but not so much, right? Even though, we have a Clone Wars Anakin, because for the diehard fans, they would want to have both versions. They would want to have all Anakins, right? Like how many of us have all Luke Skywalkers or all Boba Fett's, right? So I feel like it would impact his price a bit, but I don't think it would plummet to like $300. I think right now I've seen them for $500 in the groups, which was actually pretty decent price. I think somebody scooped them up.
Yeah.
I think especially if this gets announced, I think Darkside Anakin will just kind of hover and plateau around the 550 range.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
Because that's still a good chunk of money, but it's not like astronomically out of reach for most. And then all the other people may just be like, you know what? I just want to get this Anakin.
Well, and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing with your theory as well. And Jay, you brought this up at first. On top of that, what if it is only? I really believe they're all going to be low productions going, at least for right now, because of this economy. And they don't know when the end is in sight. And if they go ahead and announce this over the next month, let's say, or next 6 to 8 weeks, it's probably going to have a limited window. But if it's low and it gets a low stock warning, it's going to be real interesting. From what you're saying there, Anthony, let's have a scenario here, guys, where this goes up, it gets announced, whether it's a DX or it's not DX or has 2 head sculpts or whatever the differences are. And then it goes up, it goes on pre-order, and sometime before the end of the cycle, whether it's very, very quickly or months down the road, but before it gets released, it gets the low stock warning, it goes on wait list. Now you're going to have to say, okay, well, which one's going to sell more? Is it going to be this new version or the one like you're talking about, the Darkside Anakin? Because now all of a sudden, you don't got one outweighing the other so much. Like, remember how that Last Jedi Kylo was $450. Then you get the Rise of Skywalker version, and it's so available now at discount. It's hard to get rid of the Last Jedi one for $175 right now. But it's not going to be the same here because now you're going to have both. You're going to have like that animated Fett and arena suit Boba Fett effect. Like, okay, well, I still want to spend $700 on animated Fett, but I'm going to buy $500. I'm going to spend $500.
Right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it just really depends on the fandom level. But I think if they bring out this Anakin, they drop him around. Let's be real. He's going to be at least $300 minimum, right?
Yeah.
But people may go, you know what? I'm gonna pre-order that, and I don't care if I have to wait a year and a half because I'm not going to go spend the money on the other one, right?
Yeah.
And to factor in what you're saying is, this is what, I've been saying that as well, man. Like, Sideshow, I'm not going to say Hot Toys, but Sideshow has been trying to recondition us where, anything that's 2022 announcements, shit's already hitting waitlist. I mean, I'm expecting any day now that Bespin Luke's going to hit waitlist.
Yeah.
He's going to hit low stock
God, I hope
soon.
not. Yeah.
He's going to. I'm sure of it, because they're doing something different now.
Which one? Which one's going to hit waitlist?
The 2.0
Bespin Luke.
Oh, absolutely. I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
C-3PO, R2-D2,
Well,
those Attack of the Clones, those are going to hit before they come
yeah.
out.
Well, and let me ask you this, you guys, if you're Sideshow right now, Anthony, Mario, Jay, you're actually Sideshow, you own it, and you know this economy.
Free figures for everybody.
Free figures. But listen, if you had a choice, you think you're going to make more money on 5,000 extra when all pre-orders are exhausted. All the pre-orders for the DX25 up there, number 1 for 6 weeks, for months up on pre-order, people that are okay, a little bit on the fence. You also sold it to all your distributors. Okay. They already put in their POs. Are you going to be comfortable in this economy with an extra 5,000 of those or another pre-order where you could sell 5,000 battle damaged? Bespin Lukes. If you had to choose which one do you think you're going to make more money off of? The pre-order,
Yeah.
because I know I'm going to buy it's new, it's different, it's what you don't have.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that everything's exhausted by the time the figure comes out, because
then they're sitting on dead stock.
they're sitting, especially in this economy. I mean, they sit on dead stock, but it's a good economy. And now, if you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it.
Right, and we're not talking about like 5 or 10 figures either. We're talking about upwards of 100 figures minimum.
Yeah,
that are all dead stock. Right. So exactly. Like, so if they were like, hey, you know what, we ordered 10,000 Ahsokas, and that's why, or Rex, and that's why he's heavily discounted, right? We ordered way too many. Well, they do that on so much shit, at least in 2020, 2021. So now in 2022, let's say they ordered, 2,000 KX Enforcers, 2,000 Batmans, 2,000 Peacemakers. Well, look, that equals, that 5 figures would now equal the inventory previously of 1 figure. And now there's no more dead stock for 5 separate figures.
Exactly.
Versus if they were going along how they used to, they'd have dead stock for 5 separate figures, right? And that's going to start piling up.
That they would also have to pay taxes on.
And again, here's the interesting thing about this, and we're not going to know anything, I think, until, I've said this before, I think Peacemaker is going to be the first figure that we're going to know, because Peacemaker was the first figure this year that went waitlist and all made us go like, what the hell happened, right? We're not used to this, right? So the reason I say Sideshow instead of Hot Toys is because it's Sideshow doing this, right? Hot Toys is not going to lower production. It doesn't make sense as a company. I know how that works. If they make lower numbers, they have to pay more. It's like if you go to Costco and buy like a 20 pack of ketchup, you're spending $1 on a thing of ketchup versus in the store, right? It's the same thing. It's the bulk production, right? So Hot Toys is not going to lower production, because then it's going to increase their costs, right? They're going to lose the discount. So when I look at Sideshow, I say, okay, well, maybe they're limiting their purchase orders, right? So what happens when Peacemaker comes out? That's what I'm interested in. Now, he's not a very popular figure in that respect, but we're going to see what happens with the Hong Kong resellers. Are they going to go, hey, listen, we know Peacemaker's been sold out for over a year now, because now he's released, right? We know he's been sold out for over a year in America. Are we going to undercut Sideshow like they've been doing? I don't think so. I think they're going to use that and take advantage of that, because, like you said earlier, it's a supply and demand, right? They're going to know that all these figures come in here, the Bark Speeder, all this stuff that's been hitting waitlist, they're going to know that we don't have access to this for over a year. It's sold out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, right? I mean,
and here's the other interesting thing, and Mario, we'll go back to you. You've got video now, my man. We also don't know either. Now, people have asked me saying, hey, do you think that these are all going to go on wait list, that as soon as they come out, they're going to go ahead and straight up reissue them? Oh, it's not on wait list. And I say no, because the reason they're going on low stock warning to begin with is because they don't want stock at that point. But who's to say, when you're talking about these grails like the Arena Suit Boba Fett, and I understand that that's an exclusive, that in a year and a half, which I think is reasonable, 18 months to 24 months, and the economy gets better, that they're not like, hey, you know what? I see them going 2 ways, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, and just like that Attack of the Clones Yoda, they could just say, you know what? Just put out another couple thousand again and reissue it. There's no saying, Mario, that they won't do that 18 months, 24 months down the road if the economy gets better.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But I mean, it's difficult to say, because I mean, like you mentioned before, there's always new collectors that are arriving. Hell, every week, every month, every year, we've always got a batch of new collectors that are coming in, and it's difficult to pinpoint what the demand is at the time. What are they looking for? What did they just miss out on, and everything. At one point, I did consider, well, what if you just produce everything like you mentioned, low runs. Make sure that all the other distributors have their purchase orders in, and then just whatever Sideshow has, for their buyers goes wait list, and then hey, just maybe place pre-orders off of the wait list instead after that, just to kind of gauge the demand. But then I don't know if that actually works out. Like what Anthony just mentioned in Hot Toys' favor. Just because like, what if the wait list is only like a few hundred or so? I'm sure they're gonna have to like pinpoint it to where, hey, you know what, we're not gonna go ahead and do it anyway. It's only a few hundred, or if it's just like just under the threshold of where it'll be profitable for them, would they still consider it or not? So I think what you're saying actually makes a little bit more sense. In which, hey, maybe we could sneak in this batch, with another batch that's coming out soon or something like that, because they've got stuff completely or constantly in production. Right. So why not just sneak in another batch of like another figure? I don't think their production costs would like, increase, that much. But I think some of us will be a little bit upset about if they actually do that, like a couple of years later, like, oh man, we just got this damn thing or whatever like that. And I was hoping like, we're still gonna have the collectors that are going to say that. But at the same time, the way that they are these days, I can totally see them doing that. Like you mentioned, they did before with the Attack of the Clones Yoda. Turn on the printing presses again and just do another batch.
I think in this economy, it's possible you may see. I don't think it's going to be a lot, honestly, but I think it may be a few more than usual on maybe some. Because of the situation, just because of the situation. But
it's been so long since they've done that, though.
It has been long.
But at the same time, they've got so many more of the figures coming out. Why even bother doing that?
They probably won't. That's my point. They probably won't. Yeah. I mean, they understand that as a collecting community, that it's healthy to have a secondary market, regardless, as long as it doesn't get too out of control. Right? That's when they step in and do Grail killers.
Right. And these 2.0s too, Anthony, and 3.0s and 4.0s, you're not going to sell it to everybody. Like, not everybody went out and bought the Arena suit Boba Fett. Some people are like, oh yeah, that's really cool, but I'm happy with my Return of the Jedi and my ESP version, and I don't want it. But I think that they know that. That's why it's limited runs. And again, I think that maybe instead of just straight out reissuing, even though it's a possibility with a handful of them, they're probably going to make more putting out a 2.0 or 3.0, because they're going to get some of us that are going to buy it just because it's different, or because it's a different variation, or it has different stuff.
But what does that do to the season collector, man? I mean, will that just turn some of us off and say, you know what, I'm done. This is getting old and I'm out of here. I mean, how do you fine tune that?
I think you have to know that this is the game, Mario. Right, Jay? That's a great question. But I think coming in, hey, I want to collect Hot Toys. I love Hot Toys. I've been in this. I've been listening to guys doing this for a while, like Anthony, like Mario, like yourself. But you got to know, hey, you're going to spend this kind of money, but there's going to be 2.0s and 3.0s. Shoot, we're seeing it right now, Jay, with the 501st and the upcoming ensuing Darkside Anakin.
Yeah, but to Mario's point, I mean, that's what kind of pulled me out of Toy Biz back in the day. Because that happened with
what pulled me out of Black Series too.
Yeah.
I'm right with you.
I remember getting Rogue, and then Rogue was Psylocke, and then Psylocke was Storm. It was weird. It was like, come on, man. So that's where it got to the point where it's like, okay, I got what I like. I'm out, and I think that is going to happen to some collectors, but I also think Hot Toys is very savvy business. They're very savvy business people, and they know how to reel people back in. I mean, that's why you got stuff like RoboCop and a lot of those, because they know people were getting tired of it just being all Disney the whole time. They got tired of those properties. They wanted to give us a few one-offs. That's why they gave us Batman and Robin I'm sorry. For whenever.
That's something else that's still delayed. Come on, dude. I'm irritated as shit. Because it was supposed to come out. They were supposed to be out in June.
Yeah. They got.
I mean, I guess it's no end game Loki, but it'll.
Well, and here's a good question, a good comment from Robert Ang. I hope lower stock numbers mean faster releases. So I do want to get into this, but before I do, make sure everybody in here, looks like we got 110 in here at the moment. did you smash that like button? Please go ahead and do so now. Hit that like button right now. And then if you're not subscribed to 6 Scale Cantina, please go ahead and do that. And don't forget to subscribe to Brother Cousins, El Profesoro, Mario, and the 6 Scale Mafia, and also 1 6 Scale Man. All the links in the video description below. But talking about these releases, guys, lower stock numbers means faster releases. I'm going to try and go ahead and share my screen as I talk about this. But, you know, kind of out of nowhere, Anthony, kind of out of nowhere, there's only about 6 more releases. I'm talking just Star Wars right now that are due out this year. That
I think
are
Ahsoka's
due out
one, right?
from Hot Toys. I mean, isn't that interesting? So everything that was supposed to come out from Hot Toys for Star Wars 2022 has all come out, and I believe possibly, you know, under our noses a little bit. I'm going to try and go ahead and share my screen real quick on this other tab that I have up to kind of show you, 6scalecantina.com. And let me go ahead and share this here. So when you go to 6scalecantina.com, and I'll flash this onto the screen if we can see it here. There you go. You could see right on the in the Star Wars versus Marvel comparison, it's out of nowhere. I think that there's 6 releases left for 2022. You got the Ahsoka DX version. You got Hunter. You got Kuiil, with or without the blurg. You got the Chrome Mando, Luke DX, and Jesse. And I think Jesse came out, right? Or am I crazy?
Vaughn.
No, Vaughn came out.
So
Vaughn came out.
Yeah.
So I don't think that did they really do that bad. I mean, I think we're thinking it was going to be a disaster. There were a couple of releases today for Marvel, right? And I don't have that updated today, but I don't know, Anthony. I think it turned out to be, with only 6 really left, they didn't do too shabby on top of all the exclusives we got. So maybe not as behind with Star Wars as we would think. It's a whole freaking lot to put out, but they put a lot out this year.
I think for the most part, because of what was happening, or what is happening, I would say, yeah, I agree. They've pretty much hit their mark for the most part all year. We got a lot of figures this year, and I feel that we got. I'd have to double check from last year, but I think we've gotten more releases this year than we did last year, and I think the idea is, if we just base it off of Sideshow's website, we can see that the number of pre-orders total, when we look at Hot Toys in general, is coming down. It's going to take a long time, but I think that's their goal, right? Like doing those lower numbers, getting things out a little quicker.
Yeah,
trying to combat that, right?
And look at this, Anthony, too. As you're talking, and I heard this, Axe Wodes is due out. That isn't due out till next year, so that's even a one that they're bringing in earlier. But go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, and Doc Brown, he got pushed forward, right, for Back to the Future. Not delayed, it pushed forward, right? So we're seeing some of these. What else? Just a couple figures just came out recently that were pushed forward, right? That were only at like an 11-month. About 11 months since announcement have now been released. We've been seeing that a little bit more.
Doctor Strange
frequently.
pushed up?
I think so. I think he was a pretty speedy. You see what I'm saying? So we've been getting a lot of that stuff, and then when they're doing these exclusives, which I think is pretty cool, right? I mean the Shanghai exclusives, for example. That's a good way for them to mix things up, right? All of a sudden, hey. We have these figures, right? The Mark 46. We have the Stealth Suit Cap 2.0. The Campus Spider-Man. Those weren't announcements per se, right? That's like what we were talking about earlier, Jay. It's like, hey, here's these figures, and by the way, they're ready to buy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff like that's cool, right?
Yeah,
and that helps drive the market. get people engaged. You know, I think overall they've done really good this year.
Yeah, and this is a very good point, and I totally get it. Penny Swin saying only 6, only December's left. No, I get it. But my point is, it just seemed El Profesoro much dire months ago and earlier in the year. How are they going to get these out? Just how are they going to do it? Are they going to get this out? So, what I'm basically to say, like an echoing Anthony, I feel like that they've done a pretty decent job. And I think on that other comment though earlier that I put up that kind of spurred this conversation, maybe the lower production runs and some of these, their new mechanisms are kind of helping in that regard. Could this be a thing of the future where they're able to pump things out a little bit earlier? I say yes.
I hope so, man. But I hope it doesn't, come at the sacrifice of quality. Because I heard that a lot this morning.
No
about
screws
the
in my
figure.
armor or feet.
Exactly right. I mean, I heard that a lot this morning. About, oh man, this figure was completely rushed. You can see, blah blah blah, all these flaws. I mean, when in reality, hey man, they already had the tooling. All they had to do was just turn on the printing press. I'm sure it doesn't take that long to reissue, something they've already got. Instead of just building something up from scratch. But yeah, I think what you've been saying recently, man. I mean, when I've been catching up on your shows, I completely agree 100%. That's the way to go. Just low runs, and bring sooner releases.
Isn't that more
so
the older days anyway, Mario? I mean, you've been doing this a long time.
Well, the community wasn't this big. It's never been as large as it has this way. So I mean, they were still producing as much to feed all the collectors that needed to be service to, right? But yeah, it's different. It's just with the boom in when the world broke, there was a lot of new collectors that suddenly showed up. So I mean, for them not having the access to all of their production as they would usually have, it was difficult to get out such large orders, I'm sure. And we found out that they overproduced everything, and now it's just a matter of getting things back on track, re-strategizing, if you will. And
yeah. And 16 Salva says, I honestly think we are going to see similar batches, along with more folks going pre-order route in hopes of not having to go on wait list. Well, I'll tell you what, there, 16 Salvo, I think Sideshow and Hot is certainly hoping that you're right, and I think that that's all part of the strategy. I mean, you're seeing figures right now where they're trying to give away Captain Rex. They're trying to give away, some of these figures. It's absolutely crazy, and I think that it was just like Lael mentioned earlier, an underestimation of the stock, and I think particularly as well in right with that, just the economy. I mean, it was hard to predict coming out of COVID, just in the situation that we're in. And typically in an economy like this, you don't stock up on these type of things, no matter who the character is. Because, people have asked me all the time too, guys, hey, is this just for Commander Appo? And it's not going to, I'm like, nah, no, they don't want any of it. I was pointing this out on my show yesterday. I know you commented on that show, Mario. The Kylo Ren is low stock warning. Low stock warning means there's not many left. They're going to get rid of it. And they're still giving you, they had like 25% or 30% off on that yesterday. And I'm like, my goodness, it's going to go. Why do you want to get rid of these so darn fast? And that's why I don't think, guys, at the deals that you're seeing, I mean, we had the Black Friday deals. They stayed buy one, get one 50% off. Okay. And then you started to see some 20%, some 25%, a couple of Star Wars at 30%. There was some Marvel like that as well. I think during the month of December, you may get some 40%, even higher, possibly, on a few figures. They want to get rid of the stock before the end of the year.
Well, you notice it's all 2020 and 2021 figures.
Yes.
It is. I mean, for someone like me, as an example, I didn't find much wanting right from the sales, because I either have it all or, I wasn't interested in
That was in the
particular-
first place. Right.
Right. So some of the now, of course, they're not going to do it for new figures, right? They want to maximize their profit. Then when that initial burst, dies down and tapers off, that's usually what we see. That's why we're seeing some of these figures that most people already have, right? Unless you're going to, trooper build, right? As someone mentioned earlier, grabbed a couple Death Watch. I picked up another Stormtrooper Commander. I did that, because might as well. It was really cheap. But yeah, it would, obviously it'd be nice if some of the newer figures were on sale. But, why would they do that? It doesn't make sense. They want to get rid of this stock. And it's a good opportunity, I think, for people who don't have them. If you were on the fence, last year, come on. Like right now, dude, if you don't have Stormtrooper Commanders, I would just buy 2. Buy one, get one half off. That's a good deal. Take the pauldron off of one. You got a couple of Stormtroopers. Sweet deal. Things like that I could see. Right, I could see that. If you somehow happen to not pick up Rex, well, there he is for $191. $5 ship.
Definitely.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad at all. Jay, where do you think? Are we going to get, in your view, bigger discounts before December 31st, or is this it?
I think we'll get bigger ones. But yeah, just harken back to what Anthony is saying. Pretty much, it's going to be on stuff from 2021 releases. They want to get rid of all that stuff. Once they get rid of all that stuff, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I do think we'll see some bigger sales. I don't know about vehicles. I know some people were saying maybe 30 to 40% off on some of the vehicles. I think that would be pretty aggressive. That would be amazing. I think a lot of people would be owning vehicles, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I think you'll definitely see more sales, but mainly on the 2021 stock that you'll see.
Well, listen, we've got 126 in here. Let's get to 126 likes right now, because we're getting into the last part of the show and the most fun part, I believe, or one of the most fun parts. But we're going to get into, and please participate in the chat in this. I'll try and put up what I can. The famous 6-scale raw panel up close segment, but I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to quantify what this is. Okay, panel up close, craziest Hot Toys news before 2022's end. This could be Marvel, this could be DC, this could be any IP, and it doesn't have to be a announcement or drop. It doesn't have to be necessarily a release, although it can be. It can be a drop. It could be a figure, another one like Peacemaker getting a low stock warning, maybe going on a wait list before that, maybe some type of maybe a release that we're not happy with, or like some stuff today. What do you guys think? And what do you think in the chat will be the next craziest news? There's been a lot of crazy stuff lately before the end of this year. And I don't know who wants to go first, but I think that this will be fun. I am going to go ahead and go first. And I think that it's going to be this. And let's see, can I solo my own self out? Let's see if I can do it. Here I am. So I'm actually going to...
I was about to say.
Here I am.
Sorry.
I think that the craziest news that we're going to see is actually going to be more low stock warnings that are going to come into place for some of these figures on pre-order. And I think the craziest news is going to be like kind of what Anthony was saying later. Could be that DX25 Bespin Luke. I feel like it's going to be one that we're not expecting, and I think you're going to see Reva or the Grand Inquisitor or one of those figures in that regard that are going to immediately get a low stock warning, and we're going to be talking about it, and it's going to further substantiate what is going on here. I think that is going to be the craziest news for this year, guys. That's my call for Hot Toys. And I'm going to go to you, brother Cousins. You're on the spotlight. And let me go ahead and put you on here. Bear with me as I fumble through. Brother Cousins, the Space Pip. Great having you on here. Panel up close.
Yes.
What do you think is going to be the next crazy news or something with Hot Toys? Could be anything before the end of the year.
Okay, so I got two of them. And I think the first one, let's do the positive one. The first one, Mace Windu.
Oh, baby.
Mace Windu finally announced. Crowd goes wild. Everybody gets happy. Everybody's like, that's gonna be the news to end the year. That's gonna be great. Now,
boy, that'd be a great ending of the year, dude.
I'm praying. I'm hoping we get that. Second thing, I see the Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. That one releasing.
Whoa.
Because people forget. Nobody's talking about that.
Whoa.
That one releasing and pulling a heavy Mando and hitting waitlist before it even ships from Sideshow.
What in the world is... Come on.
I think that's
that is some
So
great.
wow,
I would say that's crazy. But you know what? You're right. I don't think there's anything that Luke could be in. Luke Skywalker. Is this like we're like, hey, if Boba Fett's going to be in one of these shows, you're going to get another Boba Fett. If Mando's going to show up in one of these shows, they're going to give you a version of that. So I would think Luke kind of qualifies. But I think you're right. I think that would be like perfect. That would be like insane, dude. That would be crazy. A lot of conversation.
Yep.
Wow. All right, so you got Jay's pick in there. Let's go back to the panel here. We're going to get to Anthony and El Profesoro as well. The collector number one, let's get his prediction. My prediction is that Soso Toys will announce Storm and or Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be really cool.
I like it.
Come
on that.
Yes.
Single Songwriter puts in Holiday Special and Yando Mantis. Come on. Come on. Keep them coming, everybody. Let's go to all right, El Profesoro. Let me go ahead and solo layout you here, my friend.
Crazy Hot Toys news. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Hot Toys buys out Inarts, and they get the Star Wars license. Could you imagine?
That would be crazy.
Oh, man.
Is it possible?
No.
Hey, man, I think that's more likely to happen than the M1 Starfighter coming out, in my opinion.
Oh, he's going there.
That was my third.
Hey, man, I'm always going there, bro.
Releasing.
Oh, bro, what would be crazy? I think the biggest thing for me personally, I mean, if we actually saw them do the Millennium Falcon cockpit, revisit that, and actually announce that at the end of the year, that would be insane.
Wow.
Wave 2 for Attack of the Clones. Yeah, the year's not over yet. Announced the second wave. Going off of what Jay just mentioned about Mace Windu, let's just see what the second wave of figures are. If they're 5 or 6 figures or what have you. Let's just see what else comes out. I mean, we've been waiting for that for a minute.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think I'm just gonna go with that. I'm just gonna keep it sweet and short and simple like that, man. I'm just gonna say second wave of Attack of the Clones. Bit of a cop out, and the Falcon cockpit. Let's see. Let's make that happen.
Well, I tell you what, if they do make that happen, bro, and I have a little bit of a theory, wouldn't that be great? Could you guys even imagine they drop the Attack of the Clones wave 2, which I think that Mace is very, very possible. And at the same time, those figures like C-3PO and the battle droid and those troopers, when you only put 2 or 3 in your cart anyway, if they all get low stock warnings, I mean C-3PO is like right next to Reva. Can you imagine the hype and the FOMO to pre-order Attack of the Clones Wave 2? I mean, I think it would be insane. I could actually see a scenario of that happening.
Yeah.
Like right at the same damn time.
Yeah. That's
Dorikas puts in before we get to you, Anthony. Disney says, "What the F?" and lets Hot Toys make a slave Leia.
Isn't that the dream?
Yeah, that'd be. I think every stream. I think that would top Darkside Anakin. I think that we probably wouldn't stop talking about that.
It's possible, dude. Hasbro keeps doing it.
Yeah,
they teased a couple times about it.
Yeah.
You know,
and apparently, according to Hasbro, and I know Victoria reported this because she interviewed them, representatives from Hasbro, that they were like, "No, Disney has no problems if we want to make that version of Leia." I don't know if they could call it. They want to call it Slave
Hut
Leia.
Slayer, right? Because that's what they've been doing
Hut
lately.
Slayer,
I mean,
or whatever they could call
they
it.
Should just call it a half-naked Leia and keep it moving.
Yeah. AJ says, "Let's bring on Mace." Oh, of course.
Yes.
Come on. That'd be a great way to end of the year. Wave 2, like I say in there, El Profesoro. Let us get to, last but not least, panel up close. The
up
Mafia.
close. Here we are. Well, listen. I mean, I'm gonna say, I would have almost said the N1 Starfighter, but I think they're gonna wait. I still think it's coming, Mario. I really do. But I think they're gonna wait until season 3 of Mando for that. So that'll be sometime next year, right? Now, obviously, Attack of the Clones Wave 2. If they're gonna do this Wave 2, they have to do it in December, right? I mean, I suppose they could push it back to January, but it is no longer the year. So who knows, right? Now that would be really cool. But without those, I was thinking not Star Wars related. What would be crazy to me is if they finally announced, because they've been lagging behind, right? Because they're so behind. Like, if you look at like Hawkeye, Kate Bishop got announced like months after the show, right? Because they're just so behind. So I'm thinking if they would give us the primal predator from Prey, I think that would be pretty cool. And maybe even give us the what was her name? Like Naru, the main girl. Like if they were to give us those, I think that would be pretty crazy news for me, right? Because Hot Toys has made like a ton of predators already, and it's been a while. And I think that would be something, a little, from the past, but currently like a little bit outside of the wheelhouse that people were expecting. And because when they dropped RoboCop, they dropped that Wolverine. That was refreshing. We're like, oh wow. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they've been working. I really hope they have been working on them. But otherwise, yeah, Wave 2, Attack of the Clones. I really hope that comes here, man. I really, really do.
Good stuff, bro. Wow. Paddle up close. Yeah. I have one more for you all. But did you smash the like button yet, baby? Let's go ahead and get to 100 likes on this video. I so do very much appreciate your support. But how about this, guys? If we actually got this in closing as the news.
What's going on here? I'm sorry, sir. It's time for you to leave. And so it is.
Can I please get my Bail Organa? You guys know it's going to come. Yeah, how are we going to make it just because I talk about it?
If we get a Bail Organa, we're never going to hear the end of it, Aries.
Right on the batter.
I told you for years. He's here. He's arrived. Finally.
Listen, I will.
It would be awesome, though.
I will. Yeah, it would be. It would be absolutely awesome. Guys, this was a great show.
Yeah.
This was an absolute great show. How much fun it is. I know a lot of us have work tomorrow, but I love these 6-scale Raws on Monday, Jay, Anthony, and El Professor. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
We got so much to talk about. I know there was a couple of releases today and stuff like that. We're talking about Hot Toys trying to catch up. I think they had a pretty good year, but I think that's all that I got. And Anthony, I'm going to continue to take a page out of your book. Rather than, keeping this all going. I know we got Best of the Best with Jay coming up Usually on Thursdays, you got Good Morning Grails coming tomorrow, and I have the link to Brother Cousins within the video description. Please go ahead and subscribe to Jay, Brother Cousins. Go ahead and do that right now, everybody. Appreciate that. Anthony, same with you. 6 Scale Mafia, awesome channel. Yeah, you always got Tales from the Dark Side on Saturday, and you're gonna have it. You're gonna have it this Saturday, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. We were all gonna do it this Saturday, but it just kind of worked out in our favor. All kind of having a little bit of a break, and I had to get work done too, and it was good. But Saturday, yeah, next Saturday.
Don't forget to subscribe to the 6 Scale Mafia. Link right there. Don't waste any time. Go to it, click on it, subscribe. And last but certainly not least, good to have you in here, Mario El Profesoro.
Appreciate
awesome
it, man.
channel. Don't you do the LWO, right?
We do LWO Friday nights, man. We're getting ready this Friday night to do LWO. Love that
What
show.
time is that on Friday night?
7:30 Pacific time.
7:30 Pacific time. Don't forget
Yes, sir.
El Profesoro. And I got the link to Mario's channel within the video description as well. I'm just going to fill up one more table. What table should I fill up?
66.
You gotta go 66, man.
66?
You gotta go 66.
All right, I'll fill it up with this clip.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. And we shall have peace.
I will tell you, Will Fox Vacation, the Emperor will absolutely kick Pennywise's arse. Come on. I don't always buy spotchka out, but when I do, I buy it from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.